So I'm a bit confused and I think I need your help. We need to have a chat about how you manage your time to help me understand if I'm doing it right for myself or not. What do you say? Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Nick. I'm a career coach and today we are talking about how to take control of your time. In my first video, I talked about how long it took me to actually publish my first YouTube video. Of course, a lot had to do with fear, overcoming the fear of being on camera, of being judged by other people. But I'm sure it also had to do with the way I managed my time and the way I underestimated different tasks. For example, recording right now, editing, publishing, and all these things that you don't really expect when you have an idea in your mind. But then when it comes down to reality, you realize that it takes much more than I thought. So when it comes to managing time, my first question to you is, do you use a planner or a calendar, whether it be on your phone, your computer, or actual paper? And do you set goals? Weekly, daily, monthly, yearly, or no goals at all? I know most people around me do it, and I am one of them, but somehow I found it difficult by experiencing and experimenting again to be really comfortable with setting goals and managing my time. So today I want to share my experience on how I did it and see if you can relate and probably help me manage my time a bit better. So last year I discovered this book called The 12-Week Year. And essentially this book tells you that you should think of your year as 12 weeks, meaning each one of your month, your regular month, should be squeezed and turned into 1 week only. What is the result of doing this? The point of this experiment is to shrink time and to show you that you don't need as much time as you think to accomplish what you need to accomplish. So by shrinking 1 month into 1 week, you realize that you actually can do much more than you think originally. It forces you to focus, it forces you to be more diligent in the way you set goals and achieve them. And eventually you realize that it's much more possible than I thought in the first place. So I read this book, I started the experiment, and I thought it was pretty cool. But it was in March of 2020. So we all know what happened back in the day, March 2020. So I was a bit halted in my experiment, and because I was not in a proper headspace anymore to continue setting goals and being very diligent about it, I decided to stop. But when I think about it now, I think I will restart with this experiment, and that would be a cool that would be a cool experiment to document for you so that you can see how it works. Of course, it takes 3 months, but it's interesting to see how it grows and evolves. And the way you think is really, really different when you think about time. So after this experiment, since I was not really in the mood to continue, and after a few months, I decided to restart planning. And I decided to think only about monthly goals and then broken down into weekly and daily goals, which was kind of manageable. You feel like every month you have 2 or 3 things to do, then you break it down a bit into a weekly goal and then into a daily list of tasks. I was even pushing further by tracking every half hour or hour of what I was doing. And the reason for that was that I didn't want to get lost, and I wanted to make sure that I was using my time properly, because you know what happens when you sit at your desk and you feel full of energy, you feel like you want to start, and then you get all crazy, and after a few minutes you grab your phone, which I don't have here, and you start scrolling down, and then you know you get lost, you get confused, and after 30 minutes, 1 hour, you realize that this time cannot be captured again. So for this reason, I tracked every half hour chunk that I was doing during the day to make sure I was accountable for doing something productive during the day. And it was very useful. Not only could I see exactly what I had been doing today, the day before, the week before, the month before, so I could see over a stretch of period of time that I was actually doing something. And on top of tracking what happened before, I wanted to make sure that I could estimate how much time I would need to accomplish something. So before I started any task, I would decide that maybe it would take me 1 hour to write an email, or to take like 2 hours to write a LinkedIn article. And when you set the frame in advance, it gives you a sense of purpose, and it helps you focus much more than if you had an open deadline, which means I'm going to start writing an article, but you don't know when you're going to finish it. If you say I'm starting an article right now and I give myself 1 hour to finish it, usually you will finish it within the hour because you don't give yourself leeway or freedom to do it or try anything else on the side. So this was working very well for me, and for quite some time, maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. And then, as always, when routine kicks in, you hit some kind of a plateau at top, and you realize that this tool, which was supposed to help you, is not really doing its job anymore. You use it because you convince yourself in the beginning that it was working for you, that it was necessary, but then you use it so automatically that you don't even pay attention to the benefits of it. And in this case, I was just clocking hours. I was writing, okay, today I did this, it took 2 hours. I did that, it took 3 hours. I was kind of estimating how long it would take beforehand, but it was not as automatic. It was not as conscious as before. And this just became an Excel spreadsheet full of numbers trying to make me feel better about myself, that every week I was working 35, 40 hours or so. Because in society, we understand or we learn that you have to be working 40 hours a week when you work in the company. And therefore, I was applying the same format and same numbers for myself, which obviously doesn't make any sense because when you work for yourself, you try to make it count. Each minute of your day is kind of precious. When you work for a company, not so much. So I was using this document to make me feel better by myself, to show me that I was actually doing something. But eventually I realized that I was not accomplishing that much anymore. So for example, if I decided to list a few objectives for the day, I realized that I would accomplish probably 80% of them. And you know, you always have this last item at the bottom of your list that you cannot cross. And what do? You take this item and you move it to the next day. And hoping that next day you wake up full of energy, you're gonna cross all those items. And again, next day, you're not able to finish everything. You cross one more, move it. And then from at the end of the week, you realize, well, I just accomplished maybe 60%. And that was my case. I took some items from the week and then moved them forward to the next week. And at the end of the month, I realized that I would accomplish only, I don't know, less than 50%. So you see, from the beginning, full of hopes, expectations, objectives, and drive, and it was not working. By the end of the month, I realized I would accomplish less than half of what I had in mind. And the question that I asked myself was, but if I did not plan anything, would I still be able to accomplish those 50%, or I would accomplish even less? So that was the next part of the experiment. I decided to stop planning completely. And what do I mean by completely? No goals, no list, no daily, no weekly, no monthly list. I wanted to go with my guts, to feel like I knew what I had to do, and it came spontaneously, and I didn't need to look at a piece of paper or my computer screen. If I was really involved in my business and the things I do every day, I wouldn't need to refer to a paper. I wouldn't need to refer to a software. So I felt like I could do it. No goals. I would wake up and I would sense it. I would know exactly what to do. And I believe that in the beginning, it was really relaxing, to say the least. It felt like a heavy burden off my shoulders. You don't have to read that list. You don't have to make sure that, today I need to do that 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it felt peaceful, and it felt like I was truly enjoying what I was doing, even the non-doing aspect of things. So I felt like when I was relaxing, I was really relaxing completely because I didn't have any items on the list in the back of my mind. So it felt great in the beginning. It was really a big shift between the two sides of the spectrum. And I think after a week, I would wake up and I would wonder, so what's next? What exactly do you have to do today? And I couldn't figure it out. And sometimes I would not even go back to a list of goals on my computer because now I was in the habit of not really being proactive about it. And that's the danger. When you go from one activity to the next, uh, you get used to the next one. And it's very hard to recapture what you used to do in the first place. So I was there not really knowing what to do. And a couple weeks ago, I came across this YouTuber that I talked about in my first video. And he's pretty good at productivity skills. And so he's introducing this software called Notion. And something I never heard of before. I was never using any proper software. I was doing my own database, spreadsheet, or list for myself. And when I saw that, at first I was a bit doubtful about the process, about the mindset behind it. I felt it was way too much. He was organizing each and every bit and piece of his life, professional, personal, goals, work, YouTube, and everything. I felt it was overwhelming. So I didn't pay too much attention to it. Until I watched the video again, and then I realized that it could really help me figure out my problems with managing my time. And in this case, I decided to try it out, and at first I could not understand anything. So there will be a link in the description below for Notion so you can discover. It's not a sponsored link, it's just for you to discover this app as much as I'm doing it right now. And I cannot really give you too much information because I'm still trying to understand how to work it, and it's still difficult. When I really master the app completely, I will try to do a video to explain you how it works. Maybe you could use it and it could help you also manage your time better. But in the meantime, I'm using it. So I'm not using it 100% because I still don't know how to do it. Therefore, I'm kind of in the middle right now. When I used to plan daily, weekly, monthly, it was pretty structured, pretty thorough. And then I went to planning nothing at all. I'm right in the middle right now. I have a list of a few things that are important to do, but I don't put a real timeline on it. I know that when I wake up every day now, I need to open this app. That's all I need to know and all I need to do. When I see those 2 or 3 things to do, I know now these are important things and I know how long it's going to take, more or less. But I don't need to put a stamp on it daily, weekly, or monthly because they are my priorities anyway. So this is where I stand right now. And of course, I will document later what I'm doing with this app, how it's working for me. And in the meantime, feel free to try. So these days, you watch YouTube, you read blog articles, LinkedIn articles, everybody seems to be on top. I know how to manage my time. I know I created the system for me to be more productive, be more effective. So when you see those things, it really feels overwhelming. And again, we are here with this channel to try to experience and experiment. And I want to say that not everybody is the same. And obviously those techniques, those systems, those apps, those hacks are not going to be working for everybody. And when I watch all these videos and you could see now that I went from 0 to 100 back to 0 and not right in the middle. So you have to try, you have to experiment for yourself. Don't let yourself be scared by the amount of work you have to do when you watch this YouTuber or when you read that person's article on LinkedIn. It's just a matter of see what works for you, and baby steps are key because again, I'm using this new software Notion, but I still have no idea how to use it 100%. So for me right now, I'm using probably 20% of its capability, but I'm trying little by little. I don't want to put too much pressure on it. I just want to see how it works and what works. The day it doesn't work anymore for me, I will update, I will try something different, but for now it's okay, it seems to be working. Because in fact, at some point I really doubted the fact that we should set goals for ourselves. But I know that you need a goal. You need a direction in your life if you really want to know where to go. Otherwise, you'll be distracted, you'll get lost, you'll be confused. You're going to listen to the wrong people, you're going to buy the wrong things. So you need that direction. But I had started losing faith in goal setting because it was not really working for me. Again, I just toned it down a bit and try to use this new way of thinking, this new methodology for myself and see how it works. So what about you? How do you stay on track with your life and make sure time doesn't fly by? Do you use any softwares, apps, tools, anything that can help you set goals, accomplish, and manage your time carefully? Or maybe you don't set any goals at all. Feel free to drop a comment down below. I would love to know how you do it to make sure I'm also on the right track with my life. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.